What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here. Double upload today. I had the box opening this morning of Marvel Anime, and then Let's Go drop this one on us this morning. So this will just be a quick little update. I was going to do this for tomorrow, but I got a PSA video for tomorrow, and I already got Monday's video, so I didn't want to fall behind on stuff. So you get a twofer for the price of one. Yeah. So the Tops versus or the Fanatics versus Panini stuff. And I want to put a big if on this. If this actually all plays out, it's going to take a while. So what happened today was the schedule for the Panini versus Fanatics antitrust lawsuit came out. And the trial begins in January of 2026. Yes, 2026 is when the trial would actually begin. I'm not going to run through all those other dates. Those are all the things leading up to the trial that'll happen before the trial even gets here. So assuming this thing actually goes the full boat, what are the odds it actually even starts on January 26th or January 2026 and something doesn't get in its way? So we got 2 years and 3 months until the trial even starts. Now, I said earlier, big if on this one. In all reality, I don't think this ever goes to trial. I think somewhere along the lines, they figure this thing out. And this is just all a bunch of posturing. One, this trial will cost a fortune for all parties involved. And I personally, once again, no expert here at all. This just doesn't feel like one of those things that's going to court, that it is going to get figured out way before then. Some people were asking in his replies on this, like by the time this goes to trial, Fanatics will just have control over the licenses anyway. So what's really the point of all this? And essentially what it is, and maybe this is the outside chance that it goes the full and it does actually go to trial. Panini is essentially fighting for non-exclusivity, I think is the end goal. They want to blow up everything and start from square one, which is hilarious because they had exclusivity with the NFL and NBA for the last 10 years almost, but now they're upset that somebody else does. I get that there's a lot of other nonsense involved with it. It's not really that simple, but in some cases it is almost that simple. It's like you guys are mad that they have an exclusive license, but you guys had an exclusive license, and now that you don't have the exclusive license anymore, you're upset. So you don't think exclusive licenses should be around anymore. It sounds like 5-year-old logic. But whatever. The part of this that sucks is, everyone kind of gets screwed here till this gets figured out. We have already seen on multiple occasions how this affects collectors, hobbyists, influencer, or investors, influencers, whatever. Everyone in the card space, whatever you are, wherever you are here, whatever brings you here, you're affected by this because one, mom and dad are fighting. So because mom and dad are fighting, you don't get Victor Wembanyama autos in a Spurs jersey. Because mom and dad are fighting, you have one option for a CJ Stroud or Bryce Young auto in their NFL jerseys. Because mom and dad are fighting, Panini has no real vested long-term interest in this, so they could just kind of print things to the moon, and there's no checks and balances because there's a decent shot they're not going to control this anymore, which means they could really screw things up over the next couple of years if they so choose to. Some may argue they have been screwing things up for a while. And what I mean by that is like there's no control center. Like they could just print it to oblivion to try to make as much money as possible without any regards to, watering down the secondary market or any of that sort of stuff. The overall health of the hobby, they don't care about it long term because there's a decent chance that it's gone. With all that being said, I feel like once everyone gets past their emotions, that maybe they could come to the table and figure this thing out. I think that would be in the best interest for all parties involved, especially for the sports card world as a whole. That's including, once again, collectors, investors, flippers, everyone, all of us. The more uncertainty that there is around this, the more nonsense with exclusives between the two, the more negativity. And I don't mean that like, the whole hobby negativity thing, just the fact that this is going on, that they are fighting, the drama between them two has to be affecting people's wants and desires to participate in this space. Like I said earlier, you're a Texans fan. You want a CJ Stroud auto. Oh, wait, I can't get one because there's only one and it's an instant card and it's a sticker auto because of this fight between these two. I'm a Spurs fan. Victor's awesome. I can't wait to collect his cards. I remember feeling like this back when the Browns drafted Baker Mayfield. I was excited to start buying some of his stuff, and now you're telling me that I can't get on-card autos of him in a Spurs jersey. That really will sap your excitement for participating in the space. And as we all know, you need the gateway drug to get you in. I collected cards as a kid. I was out for a long time. I moved into non-sports cards and then the comic books, and like would come back in and dabble here and there. But I've been out for a good maybe 5 to 10 years before I got back in. And what got me back in was Baker Mayfield. I mean, make all the jokes that you want, but the Browns drafted Baker Mayfield. I really liked him coming out of college, just as like a fan of the Browns. I like the spirit that he had, the fight, the chip on the shoulder, the attitude that he had. And I had missed the boat on LeBron. I was buying Magic heavy when LeBron was a rookie for the Cavs. So I missed out on that. And I said, you know what? I want to dive in here and I want to get some cards. And that's how it started. And that I entered with that thought process in mind. And now look at me, 5 years later, and where that simple act of I want to get some Baker Mayfield cards has ended me up. So you never know where paths are going to lead, and you need that gateway drug. Every person's going to be different on what gets them in. And like I said, for this case, there could be someone that's a big Spurs fan that said, man, I loved collecting Duncan cards and Kawhi. I skipped over the last 5 or 10 years since Leonard left because they've been a little whatever. I don't want to miss this. I'm gonna have some fun, relive my childhood, and let's chase some Wemby cards here. And then you find out like that this nonsense is going on. Yeah, you could get some parallels of them or whatever, or some color blast or downtowns or whatever nonsense they're going to make up to try to make up for the fact that they don't have autographs. But that could be a turnoff for someone. And that's one person, however many of those that are out there that are going to be like, forget it. I'll just go back to whatever. I'll save my money and do something else. And like I said, they come in wanting to collect one specific thing, and then you never know where that journey is going to take you. I am sure a lot of you boys and girls have similar stories with X, Y, or Z thing got me in, and then maybe you didn't even stick with X, Y, or Z thing, but you found something else entirely that you fell in love with because you entered, because you got into it because of X, Y, or Z. Then you ended up loving A, B, and C. Or you did X, Y, and Z, and also, hey, all this other stuff's really cool. I want to go chase it too, or I want to participate in this, or maybe I want to go backwards, or maybe I get into comics, or maybe I get into whatever. You get that itch again, and then you kind of fall down rabbit holes. I myself have kind of shifted over the years from one thing to the next. But you need that gateway point. You need that entry point. And the fact that this nonsense is going on is a barrier to entry, I think, for new people. And even for existing people, if you've been in the last couple of years, prices have tanked, overprinting this, triple 101s, that, all this nonsense. And then on top of it, you have these two companies battling it out, and it just kind of makes you go throw your hands up in the air and be like, you jokers figure it out. I'll come back in 2025, or actually, 2030, and see what the hell is going on in the state of things. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. Hopefully, the sooner this gets resolved, the better for everybody. I hope, for the sake of everything, that this does not go to trial. It's fun. Listen, as a content creator, I hope it goes to trial. The amount of content that you'd be able to get out of Panini and Fanatics actually going to trial, and all the legalese between here and now and Discovery and all the other nonsense will make fantastic content. It would be great for content. But for the sake of everything involved, I hope these guys just settle, figure it out, and let's see what the path is going forward. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Catch you on the next one. Peace.